Copenhagen Wolves now on red side, so not expecting too much different. Although Twisted Fate remains on Copenhagen Wolves bans, despite them being on red side. That means one of the big name red side picks is going to be available, so the likes of the Lulu could be up.
Well, they just respect Suno's Twisted Fate so much.
Also, this leaves Tom Kench. Whoa, hang on. SK, abandon Lulu.
Okay.
That puts Copenhagen Wolves in a much better spot.
Irelia.
Man, oh, this is...
Tam Kench.
Exactly. That's exactly what happens in this situation. SK just played Tom Kench. I know
it doesn't
Morsu's,
take a rocket scientist.
I know Morsu's a carry player. I just don't feel like Irelia right now is like the kind of champion that SK are going to go, ha, Irelia, first pick it.
It's probably because Wicked has control over the bans. He's like, you know what, guys, Irelia is always good.
Then
and
again,
he plays it.
Then again, so does Morsu. So Morsu could be like, I don't care what you guys want me to play. I'm just locking this.
But
like,
he locked in Tam, so he's the team player here. Okay.
Yeah, true.
Trundle picked up, once again, probably for Nukes a lot. Again, with the first rotation over to the support. His pillars were okay. They were kind of hit and miss, but because it was so much disengage, and it also came in from his allies as well, it was difficult to pinpoint whether it was exceptional or like good or bad. So we'll see it again in this game. Corki picked up though. Could go in the mid lane, could go in AD carry. It's just a flex right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of Nukes a lot right now. Clearly decent, but I don't think he showed anything that was like, man, this guy's so good.
Yeah.
So difficult in the composition that was being run. Let's be real. Hard to look flashy with disengage, unless you're like that Janna play over the wall that we saw from Yellow Star with Dragon. That's when it looks good. But it was only one game. I'm still, the jury is out. They did win, so
he's got another game and 5 weeks.
Yeah, and 5 weeks. There is plenty of time. There's no point in kind of showing up too early. You want to pace yourself.
Yeah.
So
slowly ramp up and then make it into playoffs, and then show what you're made of. Elise as next pickup for Doko. Saw that last game, also with the Tam Kench. He could make the more aggressive plays and be saved. Kalista as well, so she can draw in the support. So already quite a good amount of disengage from SK Gaming.
So what does Trowan opt for again? Rek'Sai in the last game was his pick. It is available. Probably would like it into the Elise again. It's a decent matchup. Kindred not available still, 6.1 if you keep in mind because of the bug, so Kindred will not be there. Looking for a top lane pick, most likely against Tom Kench. Could be the Trundle. This is wicked. So Irelia is gone. Yeah. Looking at his Anar is one that, well, maybe we see him try and take the 1v1 and go, nah. Is this the return, Pulse? Is this it? For any long time or 2015 Challenger Series viewers, you'll know normally what Wicked playing Malphite means.
Nah, you mean?
Yeah, not Malphite. Nah means Black Cleaver, Frozen Mallet, Hurricane.
Yeah, the core item build. Really good in skirmishes, but if you get into a team fight, you die.
Forgive me for forgetting. Is it still undefeated in Challenger? Because it was like 3-0.
Yes.
And despite my severe dislike of like what it stands for, doesn't matter, it works. It's one of those things that works.
It's really, really good if your enemy team has 3 people who are melee range, because he can hit all of you and you're all going to take Shred from Black Cleaver. You're all going to be slowed. So Braum, actually a pretty good pickup here for Wicked.
So my mind had to work through that one. Yeah, Braum would fit that, and it does get locked in. I mean, it doesn't really tip the scales all that well. The other thing that happens is you gain rage unbelievably quickly.
Yes.
You walk into a fight, 2 seconds later you're Mega Gnar, like slamming people into a wall. And Mini Gnar's damage is quite disgusting. However, there have been a lot of changes to both itemization and also top lane. So Hurricane actually did get changed to now the attack speed plus crit. So I wonder, is that better? Is that better on Mini Gnar to add that to it?
I don't know. We're about to find out though. I hope he builds it. He might just go like a very boring normal build, but he probably will go for the Black Cleaver still if he goes for the split push just to deal with Tam Kench and chunk through him. Victor also picked by Suno as well for the mid lane. Did well last game, but he didn't have enough damage on his team to make anything else happen apart from himself.
Yeah.
And Vardag's Lucian didn't do enough this time with Kalista. We'll see what he can do. Pinoy actually picked up that one last time. Final pickup of Cassiopeia will move the Corki into AD carry.
Yep.
And hopefully the Cassiopeia into mid lane, unless they run some sick cheese. No, okay, so now into top.
Yeah, that would be the tilt him, make him jet lagged.
It only works on blue side though.
Yeah, that's true. At this point, what I'm looking at is Soren on a favorite champion of his, or one of his most played. When the Copenhagen Wolves were winning, Soren tended to be on Cassiopeia. Very proficient. So this is a good sign for the Wolves, if that is anything to go by. Also, they had to supplement a little bit of their late game damage there. The Gnar, not really a pick that's going to provide a whole lot of damage late game, unless we see a crazy like 80 carry Gnar build that Wicked could do. So on that side of things, there is a fair amount of like skirmish and fight potential with the Gnar, with the Cassiopeia as well. So interesting team comp coming out from Copenhagen Wolves. Should be good.
And on the side of SK, they saw what they had last time, was like, you know what, let's run it again, and more run disengage. This time they do have some form of engage. One, they have the cocoons once again, but they also have Kalista to throw in the Braum. Braum also has his ultimate for engage or disengage. So we'll see how he uses it in this game.
Or engage. Oh dear. No more disengage. No more disengage.
No, but Copenhagen Wolves have a good way to get into fights now, so last time they really didn't. We do have a pause at the very start of the game, so we do have a replay to take a look at in the last game to see if we can take anything from that. This is the start of the game.
That's this game. We'll get there. It's okay. Here's the replay that we are looking at. So, this is the one that actually won Copenhagen Wolves the game. And this is just where Wicked kind of goes off on Morsu. That's already kind of happened already. But Vardag's got caught out as well. And that's all she wrote from this point for Copenhagen Wolves. They were able to easily just kind of take SK aside in this last fight, but took a long time to get there. Very long time to get Wicked to that point.
Yeah, you can just name this replay Late Game Rise. And there you go. He kills people very, very quickly.
Not in this game, though. Banned away.
No. On the Gnar, so going back to what worked. Wicked, even in Challenger, just played like basically Gnar, Malphite, Irelia, and Hecarim.
Yeah,
those are like his picks.
You did just name the 2015 summer meta for top
Okay,
lane,
yeah,
so
sure, but like, you know, Fiora was in there, there was a little strong
Worlds, like...
Alright, okay, that's kind of true.
Anyway. So
I'll get you next time, Wicked.
Played the meta. This time he's on a fairly off-meta champion. Seen sometimes these days. But make sure you get on Twitter, use those hashtags, #SKGWin, #CWWin, as we get into Game 2.
Yeah, I'm voting for #EngageWin, which is what we have this time. Out of the starting blocks, gonna have Tom Kent once again going for the Encrypting Potion. Last time, it was a very long time ago now, but they did go for a lane swap, so I'll see if that is the same case. That was, however, to get Ryze, or the Tam Kent rather, out of the Ryze matchup and try and shut down the Ryze. The dynamic is very different this game. Tam Kent may suffer early against Gnar, but we'll see how that matchup all pans out. So Asuno in the mid lane up against Soren on one of his signature champions in from the LCS. On that Cassiopeia, had some very good results. Was actually looking like a fairly strong mid laner when he came into Wolves. Comes in on the Cassiopeia as well and was like, man, who is this guy? With Soren and Freeze, maybe these two can actually, you know, live up to a bit of that carry potential. The real issue that came from that, though, was that if they didn't get the Cassiopeia, if Freeze didn't dominate his lane as well, Copenhagen Wolves just ended up falling apart. They couldn't control enough of the early game to stop themselves from kind of slipping away. And then every team kind of outplayed them around the map as well. And that became a big issue. But that is a very early pink ward that we saw. Like, really early pink ward. Got the value, though. Cleared away that one ward. However, now Copenhagen Wolves knows where it is, and so does Chowan. He's starting on the top side, so he probably won't path there very quickly. But he knows it's there.
So one of the reasons that they could afford to have that ward, it was actually Doc Go's ward. So he starts, I believe, with 1 health potion.
Instead of 3.
Because of it, instead of 3. The reason is, if he starts on this Grump side, it's unbelievably easy to just kite around with the spiderlings like you were talking about in the previous game. So he actually takes very little damage, provided he kites around properly. This time, blue buff actually hit him once extra, so it means he takes slightly more than he should do, but it's, you know, splitting hairs.
Yeah, it's fine, because 1, he can kite it, 2, he has the spiderlings, and because he's starting on Grump side, when he hits red, he just smites and gets all his health back.
Yes, yeah. So it's fairly efficient. Yeah. And the fact that he actually got the ward is a big bonus as well. It does, however, mean that Trowan knows there's a pink there, so he can actually change his pathing now, just in case he was about to go over there to get the Rift Scuttler. He's actually opting to go to the bottom side. That's not because of the pink ward, but it's just a nice little thing for Trowan that if you were going to go for the Rift Scuttler, is not really going to get spotted out now.
It's more than knowledge is there, so he can 1, path around it, or 2, just clear it. But it just gives him other options and just knows where he can't really touch. Also knows where Soren will be playing on the side of the lane, because he'll be moving towards, or rather Suno, the side he'll be moving more towards the top side, towards the vision. Go in the mid lane, may be able to get a gank off. He's looking for it on Soren.
And they're utilizing the fact that Suno's pushed him off to this side.
Gets the cocoon, and the follow-up. He'll flash away immediately. Trowan now into the mid lane. The teleport instantly comes in from the top lane from Wicked. Gets the hop and the bounce. And Suno is dropping low. He has flash and heal. So he doesn't use the heal, but has to flash away. Bot lane, though, engaging onto Nuxalot. Gets the CC down. Vardags has been exhausted. Pierce lands onto Panoy. Doesn't Ren just yet. There's a Ren as they escape the fight. So, yeah, actually, decent trade for SK, but Nuxalot didn't take a lot of damage from that.
Yeah, decent trade, and Vardags now limited. We're seeing them in the the 2 versus 2 down in the bottom lane. This is what we were looking forward to see how they would look to trade in this lane. Kalista Braum, fairly strong in that kind of situation against this Corki. They block so much of the damage as long as you don't get hit by Frost Bomb. So just the trading potential is significant coming from Vardags, but as you said, so Nuxalot didn't exactly take a whole lot of damage in the trade either, so fairly even is this bottom lane.
Oh, Vardags, that is a good pillar into the tower, and because he was auto-attacking and locked into the animation, that is when he chose to use the pillar.
Yeah, that was really nice from Nuxalot, actually. Just making sure he could capitalize on that frame being locked in. Now junglers are both in the bottom side here, although it is SK that have the knowledge of it as well. So Trowan's coming in from the side. They know he's there. SK could be looking to bait and turn here.
And Vardags instantly hit up by the CC. Trowan dropping low. He goes down for the first blood over to Go. Flashes after, gets the red buff slow onto Nuxalot and the stun from concussive blows. Morsu also flashes into the tower. He's fairly safe to be able to do so with his E available. Not quite enough damage to finish off Nuxalot. And that is a 1-0. Teleport used, though. That could be cleaner from SK.
It could have been cleaner, but really nice balance by Copenhagen Wolves, just to make sure that they didn't get hit by the second Tahm Kench mark there. If that had gone maybe closer to 3 with the extra auto into Devour, that would have been a kill. So whether it was intentional or not, Copenhagen Wolves saving themselves from an even trickier situation, as Morsu did have the grey health available. But that was his flash and his teleport being used in that bottom lane engage. But this has been a much more active game than our first. Despite only having 1 kill, 2 teleports have been used very early on into the bottom lane, and both junglers have been down there as well.
Trowan knew that ward was there and smited Raptors and lost his Razor Sharp buff.
Feels bad, man.
Yeah, feels real bad. Places down the pink ward. That's actually a really good pink ward. We talk about it a whole lot, but that pink ward stays alive for a long time.
It's because like the neutral pathing doesn't take you through that bush.
Yeah.
Or generally, when you're going anywhere through that corridor, it's just like if you path, it doesn't draw you close enough. So unless you manually like click in the bush, which by the way you always should do if you're passing through and there's no real threat around. However, speaking of threat,
Soren once again caught in the CC chain, and once you're hit by 1, you are not getting out. Doesn't have any summoner spells, and Soren just goes down.
Well, we spoke about how good Soren's Cassiopeia is, but honestly, I think that kind of decision-making to move forward there is not champion-specific. That was getting baited with no summoners.
Yeah.
A little surprised to see Soren do that.
Yeah, very surprised. Had they lost the first game, we'd be like, oh, maybe it was like, you know, the mentality being crushed, but they won that first game. That's a win you can feel necessarily good about, but at the end of it, after finally winning out.
It's a win you can feel about.
Yes. And Vardax is feeling a lot of pain currently from Nukesalot and Pinoy. Just needs to poke him, and he goes down.
Unlimited wasn't back with Vardax.
No.
And Vardax was pushing the lane.
So far out.
That's risky.
Yes.
I'm not.
That's a high risk, low reward play.
Yeah, there is almost no reward from that play.
Okay then. First kill over to Copenhagen Wolves. Dotgo into the top lane. Has that pink ward up. Wicked is level 6, but did use his ultimate just a little while ago. Morsu's starting to stack up. Oh, doesn't land the good old lick. And Dotgo can't land the cocoon either. So
really weirdly timed attempt at a gank there, though. I mean, even though Wicked has used his ult, he's still in Meganar form. And I don't know whether Elise Tamkench had the damage there against a against Meganar that still had like Wallop. It was about to come back up, still had the Q for the extra slow. So I think at best situation they trade 1 for 1.
Well, here comes the engage in bottom lane. Pinoy has the ultimate, so he's going to be dealing more damage onto Vardax, who goes down again. Unlimited can't save him.
So what we're learning is in the 2v2, Vardax pushes the lane, and then the warding and just the presence around the map is not strong enough for SK to cover for that, at least in this game. And if this happens continually throughout the season, then there may actually be a very obvious lane to gank here for anybody facing SK, is if that continues to happen that quickly, twice within like 6 minutes. This time it's Wicked that's caught, this time they'll kill him.
Yeah, that was not a good flash from Wicked. He flashed preemptively and then was just like, oh, well, I'm going to get cocooned. There was no way he could get away from that once Dotgo was in melee range. I
wonder, Wicked was already building his Meganar. I wonder if he'd have stayed and tried to auto-attack. He had his ult.
Yeah, it was too much, I think.
Yeah,
it was like
I think it's too much damage
rage
that was coming out. Still needed a good few auto-attacks.
If he had Hurricane, though, then he would have stacked up in time.
Stop it.
What's that Warhammer going into?
Yeah, I know that. I saw it and I'm like, where's that going? Nice attempt at a steal from Unlimited. Wasn't successful. Wolves get their first dragon of the game, and they're looking in a decent spot despite a few mistakes. I mean, all it's been is Wicked and Soren overextending in lane, but they've capitalized on exactly the same mistake from the bottom side of the map as well, with Vardax from SK stepping too far forward, getting caught out twice.
And bot lane, Pinoy with that kill and the assist, well on his way to his Triforce. With the Fade and the Sheen, those are always your first components of Triforce. Some people like to just get the components of Fade and then go into Sheen, or just go Sheen first, because you die very fast when you trade against a Corki with Phage. Auto attack, fast bump, auto attack is a lot of damage.
Yeah, especially with this style of Corki, where you're running Thunderlords. We did see in LCS one of the AD carries, I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, running Further Battle, which was more based on auto-attacking in team fights. Overall, it probably evens out the same, but laning Thunderlords is so good on Corki. Just that combo, auto Q auto for the proc, or just walk into them with Gatling gun on, because it procs incredibly quickly. So I actually do quite like Sheen first. We see it a fair amount. But does leave you vulnerable. So that's a harassment
ultimate,
auto,
and Morsu will jump in range, gets the Devour. Doko literally just stands there and waits for Wicked to come out. The CC chain, the killing spree, and Wicked dies again.
Okay, for real, what was that ult about?
I don't know. He did that earlier as well.
Right, but earlier, I don't know. That was a weird one.
Yeah.
Suno should be safe here. He just got to turn from the ult. Ooh, okay.
The flash, the ult turns into it. He gets stunned. Trow with the knockup is bleeding out from the poison, but that was under tower. He still stays alive. And Morsu with the TP into mid lane. He doesn't get a kill, and no one actually dies there. Dotgo trying to pick up a kill on the return, but not going to happen. Wow.
Suno was out. Suno had no reason to turn back into that. He could have just continued running, was trying to just lay some damage down as harass.
When you're running away from a gank, don't just turn around.
Turn back into the Cassiopeia.
It's like, oh, I wonder who's behind me. Oh,
Cassiopeia. Yeah, that's probably like the worst thing you can do. Man, I wonder whether Medusa's still chasing us. Like,
yes, she is.
It's not a good thing to do with mythical creatures like that. It's looking right into their strength.
There are some MMOs where you are in first person and then have to look behind you to see who's there. This is not one of those games, Stress. This is a top-down MMO.
Maybe Suno's like, I don't care, it's a MOBA, I'm role-playing.
Yeah. He's got to use a mirror then, right? That's the old legend.
Yeah, exactly. Never turn around if
Medusa's there.
Yeah, just or you know the basilisk from Harry Potter.
Yes.
Any of these things.
Yeah, none of those. But he survived.
He did.
That's the
he
important
did.
thing. Had to
He
burn all of
stared
the
into the
summoners.
face of death and survived.
Yep.
So
he's got that going for him.
Why did he turn? That was a really weird.
There's a lot of weird things happening in this game. The two wicked ultimates.
I want to go back to that wicked ultimate. I'm sorry.
Flash.
I remember I was about to rant about that because I saw very little gain from that ultimate. Like, I jokingly was like, "That's a harassment ultimate."
Yeah.
Like, really?
But he died for it. Like,
yeah, exactly. It like directly led to his death because I think he was safe. If he knew the gank was coming and wanted to run away, he didn't need the ult. He could have just walloped. Anyway, we'll see if it happens again. That was a really weird misplay from Wicked. And I think I would like to think he'd say the same, but maybe he wouldn't. I don't know. maybe there was something I'm missing. Because the same with the Black Cleaver. I seem to always miss something whenever we're looking at Wicked's and he just outplays everybody. So.
Very true. Undefeated with
yeah, maybe I'm completely missing the point.
Yeah. He knows something we didn't. Okay. He's just fattening up Dotgo for the shutdown. I'm stretching here. Dotgo is in the enemy jungle, though, trying to take away this blue buff. And Suno will pick it up. But Trowan is in the area, and they know he's there now. Oh wait, no, that's that.
It is their own jungle though, Pulse. Don't worry.
It is. It's even I'm tilting.
Secret mission to secure
like
their
they're
own
stealing
blue.
away the blue buff.
Ah dear. I mean, the first game was a long game. It's
no
okay.
excuse.
We've got a whole nother series, Pulse. Don't worry. We've got plenty of League of Legends left. After this is Huma versus Millennium, but SK right now are down one game in this best of two series. And a lot of this game has been focused on Vardags from the Copenhagen Wolves side when it comes to who they were looking to go aggressive onto. Vardags 0-2 currently, and SK have got their 3 kills onto Dogo.
It does highlight something, though, because even in the first series of the day between Inspire and Malz, I was impressed by a lot of those players. Even in the loss, Sebex in the mid lane, pretty good stuns. On the other side, Cosq really impressed. But in this game, I'm seeing a lot of mistakes, even from the veteran players. Panoy's been doing very well in both series, I have to give him that. Soren has made multiple mistakes in this game. Wicked, nukes a lot, we haven't seen all that much from him, but the pillar play was great. But there's more mistakes in these veteran rosters than the previous game, where we had a lot of players who hadn't really stuck in their team very long.
Yeah, that is fairly fair to say. I mean, it's a tough one because after such a long first game, it's somewhat understandable. Playing the best of twos back to back has its pros and cons, or at least like the 2 games of best of 2 back to back.
Sure.
It allows you to adapt very quickly to what your opponents were doing, but also then the mentality game comes into it. So unlike last year where we had the first game on the Tuesday, the next game on the Wednesday, and it wasn't a best of 2 as such, it was just 2 best of 1s. This time, if there is a long game like that, you have to be prepared. And honestly, it is better for the players to be in that situation for when we get to playoffs, because then you have to play back-to-back games.
Yeah.
It's just very clear at the beginning, maybe, that it's not the easiest series to back-to-back in these two, with 2 later game focused teams.
Well, Dotgo has been CC'd up, and there comes the Glacial Fisher from Unlimited for the disengage. He's taking a lot of damage, and Suno in the mid lane. Maybe they'll stray a little too close to the bush so he can combo them. Not quite yet. Wicked, there's the ultimate once again, but Morsu's just going to carry on with the damage and deal all the extra damage. He'll have to flash away, and Morsu still wants him. The rock comes out, and he has to go into grey health. But Wicked getting out-traded by a Tam Kench at this stage in the game.
Yeah, out-traded by a Tam Kench just from the Senpai cape, but you want to know why he's getting out-traded?
Why is that, Stress?
Wicked has 2.3k gold in his inventory, whereas there was a completed item on Morsu. Now he has a Black Cleaver. He doesn't have 2.3k gold anymore. Sorry,
you missed it.
Trolled him. Then again, the Tam Kench did have 1.5k in his own, so there was a fair amount of gold difference, but Sunfire Cape was the real difference in those trades between Morsu and Wicked. Now Black Cleaver is completed. We're a third of the way there, Pulse.
We are.
Next item would be Frozen Mallet if we're going that route. However, I wonder whether we'll see like a more of Mortius maybe instead of Frozen Mallet, just to kind of give himself that extra survivability when it comes to magic resist against the likes of a Victor.
But it gives him less health to benefit from his ultimate form, because what Frozen Mallet gave you was extra health, so you benefit from the extra resistances when you go into Mega Gnar.
Yeah, that is true.
But more of Mortius is a very good item right now.
It is good. It's a really good item. Then again, he is only against one real no, there's an Elise.
Yeah.
It's like one full AP and then an Elise and a Sunfire Cape and some Tahm Kench damage. So it kind of just about makes 2 AP champions, which is generally what we see more of Mortius picked into. Very, very strong item in that situation.
It's all burst as well, which is also good for more. It's also about the passive it gives, the extra lifesteal and
attack speed.
Attack speed you get is really, really good. But you're generally seeing like Kindred pick it up, Grays pick it up, people who don't want to be bursted who aren't innately super tanky. So maybe we'll see more of Mortius.
That is how Wicked was playing his Gnar.
Yeah.
Looks like he's opted away from that though now.
Gonna go for a tanky
build. He's opting for tank. Probably Spirit Visage coming next.
Yes.
Looking at, it would only be that or Banshees, and I don't think Banshees is neither a very good second item or just in general a very, solid item right now.
It's nothing you really need to Banshees.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the only thing he'd be avoiding is like a Cocoon, and even then, he can hop away. So, opting towards that Spirit Visage against a lot of AP damage is pretty strong. It just means that he's not going to have the same amount of damage that we've seen from him before. I prefer this setup to his regular Gnar setup. Haven't seen him play Gnar in like 6 months.
That's
so
mid lane, getting the trade. Morsu is here right now though.
Rek'Sai's coming.
Void Rush comes in. This is going to be turning into a 3v2 very quickly, and Limited has to back away. Morsu, tanky, he flashes out as well. And with his thick skin, should be able to survive a little bit longer. Great pillar, but now the cavalry has arrived, and maybe Copenhagen Wolves have pushed a little too far. Trowen gets stunned up, and should be good to go. Sorin split pushing in the bottom lane though. The flash! Lands the ultimate onto Vardags, looking for more damage and gets it. He walks away from the turret and takes out the AD carry.
Man, Vardags was not respecting Sorin's ult and flash combination there. Dotco's coming down here as well. It's all going to be on the poison because Trowen's here as well. Flash into knockup.
Flash, knockup, jump away to Sorin to try and survive. Suno's here, the flash, the laser, and into Seraphs. Maybe he can stay alive. Trowen, though, doesn't get tongue there, and now is still being chased down. The laser misses it auto. You can't dodge that one. Finally gets the kill. So eventually they take down Sorin, but they used a lot of resources for that.
That was close by Sorin. It just, as you said, the auto was the thing that did it. Man, Sorin nearly traded it back, but used a lot from SK. Wicked takes the top tower at the same time. So again, Copenhagen Wolves are just slowly increasing their advantage time and time again. So is this ult flash? No, it's flash ult into Sorin. So normally that would be an easier one to avoid. Ult flash is pretty difficult to avoid from Sorin. There's even some other trickier ones that I wonder whether we'll see from him. And this was the not-so-great escape.
Yeah. Morsu does not connect the lick.
I mean, Trowen could have been selfless there and gone in for the knockup. Maybe tried to defend, but maybe tried to get Sorin out.
I mean, he would have died for it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's like, do you die and like a Cassiopeia to get out, or do you risk one of you dying?
Nah, he's just pissed.
Trowen's like, you know what? I'm gonna get out of here.
Something that has to be said about this game, though, specifically with Vardags, is he is getting punished a lot on Kalista. I think almost every single one of his deaths or misplays has been because he's been locked into an auto animation and being punished by Copenhagen Wolves. The Cassiopeia ult flash, the nukes a lot in the bottom lane with the pillar. Constantly in this game. And
that's a really intriguing thought, because something in my mind stands out, that when we were discussing Unicorns of Love in the lead up to the summer finals and the regionals, I seem to have the memory that Vardags did not play Kalista.
I think
there was a big discussion because I remember talking a lot about how Paravival didn't play Azir and that Vardags didn't play Kalista. And it was hamstringing the Unicorns of Love really badly in picks and bans. And it seems like even though he's picked up Kalista, you're kind of right with like he's getting locked into these auto animations and just finds himself out of position because of it. Some of it is decision making with like not really expecting Soren to flash ult him when it's a Cassiopeia that has like 2 items.
Yeah.
Or like at least the completed Saris at that point. Of course she's going to do that.
I completely agree, but with this Dragon up, Unlimited taking a bit of poke, Pinoy good in this situation, Fissure does not connect onto anybody, but delays Copenhagen Wolves for engaging onto them, and the Fate's Call comes up. Kind of weird timing.
It just misses everything. That is their engage tool gone now. It's only a cocoon that they're looking for an engage.
Yeah. That raises a lot of question marks. That was not a good ultimate to start, and also not a good Fate's Call. And those 2 big tools being down, Copenhagen Wolves have a way into this fight. Trowen comes in with the Void Rush and has only just gone back to base. Yes, he gets CC'd up, but he actually goes down very quickly. Morsu tanking up this damage. Wicked trying to get the damage onto him once again through that Grey Health and will get him. There's the 1-for-1 so far. Wicked trying to get in range. Will knock back Suno over the turret. And he also goes down 2-1 over the Copenhagen Wolves. That was a good engage.
Yeah, Copenhagen Wolves looking to continually press their advantage when they have the ability to. They knew that Fate's Call being down meant that one of the counter engage or engage tools out of SK was not available. All they had to do was make sure they didn't get hit by like the Braum ult in that situation, which I believe, was that even available in that fight? Did they use it in the last little bit? I believe they did. It was already down from the dragon fight, so SK actually used way more than they should have in the first little dragon skirmish, and that just allows Copenhagen Wolves to take a fight like this. Trowen dies. He already knew he was dying at this point, but is confident that the team is going to trade in their advantage as this fight continues. Morsu took a little bit longer, I think, to die than they were expecting, and Wicked got creep blocked for a little bit there, so would have been able perhaps to have got 2 people without that creep block. Only gets 1. It's enough, though. It's the wave clear. It's the damage dealer of Suno.
It was a very good exhaust, though, from Unlimited onto Soren as he came in from the flank, because had he not exhausted there, that ult probably would have secured maybe another kill, maybe another 2 as they all retreated. So the exhaust was good and slowed him down, reduced a lot of the damage from Soren, because he was in prime position to unload on everyone from SK as he was escaping. So silver linings, but still, that was an advantage win to Copenhagen Wolves, who are about 3,000 gold ahead in this game at this very moment. Ahead in turrets, ahead in dragons, and Wicked still sitting on a lot of gold. He doesn't go back very much.
No, he likes to just go, I'm banking my money.
Yeah.
He's one of those people that's like, I don't trust banks. I'm going to keep all my money under my mattress. I'm just going to keep it with me. I'm not going to put it in like stock or houses. I'm just going to keep it in cash. Cold, hard cash in the mattress. I want to sleep on that money.
Yep. But you have to spend it in a game like League of Legends. Oh, Abyssal Voyage. This could be a good engage coming out. Joko already on to Soren. Morsu and Unlimited follow up as well, but Unlimited's probably going to go down. There's the Fate's Call to save him, thrown back in, and only now the teleport comes in from Wicked, and he's not even got the rage either. He's just coming in, lambs to the slaughter. Trowen will be backing off. Vardags flashes in, gets the double kill, and continues the chase. The lick lands on Wicked, and he should be going down again. Goes into ultimate form, but Doko will take him out, and Pinoy and Soren survive, but what was that engage? Yeah, Wicked didn't even get his ult off there. Where did Wicked TP from? Because, as you said, no rage bar had built up either. So he was trying to push mid lane, comes into the bottom side of the fight. SK do get a decent engage off that Abyssal Voyage. This time they had just enough to create a distraction for 3 or 4 people as Copenhagen Wolves were trying to back away. SK should get this inner tower off that as well. So is it enough to turn the game in SK's favor? In the gold lead, yes it is. They have the kill lead as well. 3 dragons for Copenhagen Wolves overall. It's going to make it fairly tough if this game goes on a super long time. So yeah, Wicked was pushing mid lane. Was in mini-Gnar form. I wonder whether Mega Gnar just timed out before this. Because this is where Soren manages to get himself away just by kiting back against Morsu.
good knock-up onto Sir Nukesalot and Troan, and they get a double stun setup. Look like from the gravity field in this fight. SK then continue to chase on. Copenhagen Wolves get caught out, and that was a rough fight for them. Wicked so close to getting his ult. The Barton's red, he chose to wallop to get the transformation off, but couldn't follow up.
So there were two things in that fight. One, Vardags, I disagree with his choice of dashing backwards, even though it was into Soren and Pinoy. He could have finished them off, but he chose to go backwards because Noxious Blast was coming down. He could have maybe picked up an extra kill. And also, you questioned whether Wicked had just come out of Mega Form into Mini. He did not, because he already had Rage built up. You were locked out from building Rage after coming into Mini Form again.
Right. But what I meant by that is, like, the build-up to him teleporting is, like, because he was autoing the wave.
Correct.
What I mean is, had he just been Mega Gnar, so that when he was pushing the wave, it wasn't building super fast, and then he appears with a little bit. Anyway, tower pushes on. That's a big Gnar.
That could be a good engage. Vardags is going to go down, and so is Joko. Will be falling. Shutdown going over to Wicked. 2-0. Morsu also caught in this fight. I didn't even realize he was still there, and maybe he can pick up this kill into Trowan, but no, he cannot. 3 kills over the Copenhagen Wolves, and no matter what happens in the last fight, this could be big for them. Yeah,
this looks to be the Baron going down for Copenhagen Wolves. Wicked isn't very tanky here. Blue Trinket this time I don't think really matters, just because they're going to have the Smite available when Trowan comes back. It's only the support in the mid laner. I mean, we've seen GBM steal as a victor, but this is not a fight that SK were looking to take. Copenhagen Wolves with a Baron buff. This actually is probably going to be enough to close this game. I don't think Suno can clear this wave on his own now. He's even opted, he's gone for the Rallies again, so it's not even like he's got a massive amount of damage before it gets reduced. Has a fair amount, but you can see, it does get the range creeps.
Yeah, but they don't get extra resistances, and also the Baron buff did wear off.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It pushes in towards him, and it's like, oh, okay. So he can clear most of the wave, and then, it timed out.
Okay, we're gonna take a look at that engage in mid lane. Good engage by Wicked to start it off.
Yeah, it was a good engage, and here comes the follow-up. You can see Pinoy is just darting around in the backline as well. Doesn't even have to actually output too much damage in this fight. This is a fairly cut and dry one. Soren took out most of the threat from SK there.
And pretty cut and dry. Now Dragon is up in 1 minute, so Copenhagen Wolves going to establish vision control over the area. Hit some pretty nice item spikes as well. Mid lane sitting on 3 items. Soren picked up the Abyssal on top of the Rylai's and Seraphs. That was difficult for me to say.
It was a Banshee's Veil.
Well,
in the end.
But it was like 3rd item. He just built the Spectres, left it as that, and then went into it. So now it makes more sense. Had he picked up 2nd item, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, I guess he's just like avoiding the cocoon and the tongue lash, the first one. Huh. I was expecting it to maybe not be. But yeah, the fact that he sat on it for Spectre's Cowl was pretty solid. Wicked always with a slightly different build, but always has a purpose. That's the best thing.
Well, now it makes more sense because he's more likely to get hit by the big ultimates like Glacial Fissure to start off a fight, so he is actually able to block one of those, versus before when we were seeing more skirmishes or the 1v1s where it just didn't make sense. So now there is a reason for this build. Copenhagen Wolves take down the bottom turret as well with that Baron. Now the Dragon has spawned, they'll take this one as well. That'll put them on 4 dragons, so just a strong position in general because they can go for Aspect if they wait it out. They're still pushing towers, they're getting a lot of gold, accruing all of that extra advantages in all categories. So many ways for Copenhagen Wolves to win this game. SK Gaming, looking at their team, gonna be hard for them. Vardags did start picking up some kills, but ultimately the damage is still essentially Suno and Vardags. And Joko, unlike last game where he went Runic Echoes, this time has gone for Cinderhulk, so they have even less damage.
Yeah, the damage is going to become, or is already a problem for SK. Morsu, we talked about how he doesn't really play these tanks, and I don't know, he hasn't had a particularly big impact on this game. Not to the same level that we've seen other teams playing with Morsu have when he's been carrying, and yes, it is a very different flavor, it is a very different style. I feel like, I don't know, I don't want to say like Morsu's being held back by playing tanks, but it doesn't seem to fit his playstyle still. Regardless of it being a choice of playing differently, it just feels like his impact on the game is pretty low.
I agree. In top lane, he was still dueling Wicked even as Tan
that is true. That is true.
But was he on something like a Fiora? Then Wicked would be dead faster.
I guess I'll quantify this by saying it's not a problem with Morsu and how he's played the game.
Yes.
I just feel like the compositional problem doesn't suit Morsu's strengths.
Agreed. Because he's facilitating his team rather than the other way around, or making things happen by himself. But go ahead.
It's kind of almost hypocritical criticism from saying, oh, you should play tanks, to now being like, oh man, you're playing tanks, but
go back to carry.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not what I'm getting at. It's going to take a little bit of time, I feel, for this to have the effect where you can be like super confident on your tank playing, because although a lot of people think it's fairly easy to just play tanks, it actually has a lot more into it than just tanking damage.
Well, he's had some pretty good engages like this one. This is not a good engage. The rest of his carries are already dead, and that's literally all of SK's damage, which just died in an instant. Doko will jump down to this bottom tower, but Pinoy is on the hunt. He wants him. There's the shutdown. 3-0. This could be curtains now. And Morsu was looking for the engage, but he was just too far out. He went behind the team, and his own team was already dead. So bottom lane inhibitor going to go out, and Morsu now trading off with Soren. I call it a trade, but Morsu's not really taking damage, and also doesn't deal a whole lot of damage.
Well, here we go. Here's Morsu now, you know, flexing his 1v1 muscles at this point. So it is, however, too little, too late, I feel. Copenhagen Wolves are looking to push for the win on this. Morsu's taking their attention for a while, though.
Yeah, he's going to waddle around this Nexus. He's not really going to be able to defend, but he can just kind of annoy them for a little bit. And there's the second Nexus tower falling, and now onto the Nexus itself. Copenhagen Wolves 2-0 in this week, secure themselves 3 points.
Looking pretty solid when they have a lead. First game was rough, though, when it comes to the pacing of the game. Second game was a lot better from the Copenhagen Wolves. Generally only that one fight in the bottom lane that really went against them. The rest of the game seemed within their frame of what they wanted to do. Looking like a pretty strong contender if well, I guess we have to see what the rest of the teams can do.
Yeah.
We've seen 4 so far.
I do want to touch on laning phase, because I agree. When you got to grouping up and fighting as a team and making decisions, I thought they were very strong. Copenhagen Wolves, that is. However, in laning phase, we saw a lot of issues individually. Like Wicked made a bunch of misplays, so did Soren. Pinoy and Nuxalot, actually fairly impressed. Pretty solid performance in the first game. Second one, Nuxalot landed a lot of good pillars. Pinoy just did well in general. I want to see how well he does against other AD carries in the league. I feel there's a lot of strong ones. Tarek is stepping up, for example.
Yeah.
Holy Phoenix as well, want to mention, who will be coming from next series. But yeah, so definitely issues in the laning phase, but when they came together, very strong team.
Yeah, well, they did come together pretty well. I think when you look at SK, issues on that big highlighted weakness in the bottom lane where Vardax has kind of stepped forward twice, got picked off. I like what they were trying to do, though. Having Morsu play tanks. As much as I think it was a little underwhelming in this series, I think it's the right direction to at least have it in your playbook.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see that that is an evolution now from Morsu, because I've always kind of felt that as a player, if he rounded that aspect of his game off, I'm not saying he needs to play only tanks, but like if you can round that aspect off and still carry, I think that could be like what is needed for a challenger top laner that's trying to make it into the LCS.
Well, hopefully we see more from Morsu as well. It'll be exciting to see what he does against other teams. But it's 2 series down and 1 to go. So don't touch that browser. We'll be back with Millennium versus Huma right after this.
Seriously. Don't touch it.
I'm watching.